Most people don't think twice about self-checkouts. You scan your items. You pay. You leave. No cashiers. No conversation. No human interaction. Just a machine. But what if the machine recognized you? What if it remembered your last visit? Or worse, what if it knew about visits that never happened? These are 5 self-checkout horror stories that felt a little too real. Story 1. Unexpected item. I wasn't supposed to be there that late. The supermarket closed at midnight. I walked in at 11:47 p.m. Just needed milk. Nothing else. The place felt different at that hour. Half-empty shelves. Only a few customers. Most of the staff already cleaning. I grabbed the milk and headed for the self-checkouts. 6 machines. Only one was active. The others sat dark and silent. I scanned the milk. £1.65. Normal. Then another item appeared. Unknown item, £0. I frowned. The bagging area was empty. Only the milk sat there. I tapped remove item. The screen froze. A few seconds later it refreshed. The item disappeared. Then another appeared. Customer detected. My stomach tightened slightly. That wasn't a product. I looked around. Nobody nearby. The closest customer stood several aisles away. I canceled the transaction. Started again. Scanned the milk. Everything normal. Then the machine spoke. Welcome back. I froze. Because self-checkouts usually use generic recordings. This sounded different. More natural. Almost conversational. I finished scanning. Tapped pay now. The total changed. £1.65. Became £1.66. Only a penny difference. Still, it bothered me. I checked the receipt afterward. The extra charge appeared as additional item. No description. No barcode. Just additional item, 1 penny. I went home. Forgot about it. The next evening I returned. Again around closing time. Again using self-checkout. This time I bought bread. Nothing else. The machine lit up before I even touched it. Welcome back. My stomach tightened. Then the screen changed. Last visit, 11:49 p.m. Correct. Then, purchase, milk. Also correct. Then, you look tired today. I froze. The message vanished immediately, replaced by the normal checkout screen. I looked around. The staff weren't watching. Nobody seemed interested in me. I paid and left. That night I checked the receipt. At the bottom, beneath the total, a new line appeared. See you tomorrow. The following evening I deliberately visited a different supermarket. Different company. Different location. Different self-checkout. I scanned a drink. The machine loaded. Then displayed. Transfer complete. My stomach dropped. The screen flickered. Then, welcome back. My chest tightened instantly. Because this wasn't the same store. Not even the same chain. Then another line appeared. Third visit confirmed. I canceled everything and walked out. As I reached the exit, my phone buzzed. Receipt available. I hadn't bought anything. Yet somehow a digital receipt appeared. 1 item purchased. Description. Customer. Price. 1 penny. Status. Added successfully. Story 2. Loyalty card. I never signed up for the loyalty program. That's what made the message impossible. The supermarket had one of those membership schemes where customers scanned an app for discounts. Points. Coupons. Rewards. Normal stuff. I never bothered with it. I only went there once or twice a week anyway. Then one Thursday night, around 10:30 p.m., I stopped by after university to grab a few things. Bread. Pasta. A drink. Nothing exciting. The store was nearly empty. Only a handful of customers. Most of the checkouts were closed. I headed to the self-checkouts. Scanned my items. Everything normal. Then a message appeared. Loyalty customer detected. I frowned. Because I didn't have a loyalty card. The machine beeped again. Then displayed. Welcome back. My stomach tightened slightly. Maybe the previous customer hadn't logged out properly. That happens sometimes. I ignored it. Tapped no loyalty card. The screen froze. For a second, then refreshed. A new message appeared. Account verified. I stared at it. Then, points balance updated. The message disappeared. The checkout returned to normal. I paid and left. Not terrifying, just weird. Then I looked at the receipt. At the very bottom sat a section I'd never seen before. Member status. Visit number 47. My stomach tightened, because there was no membership account, and I'd definitely not visited that supermarket 4 to 7 times. I threw the receipt away, forgot about it, until 3 nights later. I returned for groceries. Different self-checkout, different machine. The moment I scanned my first item, the screen changed. Visit number 48. My chest tightened. Then another message. Welcome back. I canceled the transaction immediately. Moved to another checkout. Same thing. Visit number 48. Welcome back. Every machine displayed it, like they all recognized me. I left without buying anything. That should have been the end. Instead, the receipts started appearing. Digital receipts. Sent to my email. The problem? I never entered my email. The first one arrived around midnight. Subject: thank you for shopping. The receipt listed items: milk, bread, chicken, fruit, normal groceries. Except I hadn't bought any of them. Then I noticed something. The purchase time: 11:56 p.m. I was asleep at 11:56 p.m. The next night another receipt arrived. Different items, different total, same membership account, same customer ID. The purchases kept happening, every single night, always close to midnight, always at self-checkout machines, always under my account. Eventually I contacted customer support. They searched the account, then asked me a strange question. How long have you been shopping at our stores? I told them I wasn't a member. The employee went quiet, then said, "That's odd." I asked why. He hesitated, then replied, "The account was created 6 years ago." My stomach tightened, because 6 years ago I was still in school. I had never used that supermarket. Then he added, "There's something else." The account holder name matched mine exactly. Full name, correct spelling, correct date of birth, everything. Yet the account had been active before I'd ever shopped there. I requested the account be deleted immediately. The employee agreed. Problem solved. Or so I thought. A week later I returned to the supermarket. Needed snacks for a late-night study session. The store was quiet, almost empty. I approached the self-checkout. The screen activated before I touched it, then displayed. Loyalty account restored. My chest tightened instantly. Then another message appeared. Member since 2019. Underneath sat a profile photo. Black and white. Low quality. Taken from a CCTV camera. I stared at it. Because it was me. Standing at a self-checkout. Looking directly into the camera. The timestamp showed 2019. 4 years before I'd ever entered that supermarket. Then the machine beeped. A final message appeared. Visit number 1. Followed immediately by, "Welcome back again." Story 3. Weight check failed. The machine said I was too heavy. That was the first thing that didn't make sense. I stopped at a supermarket after midnight on my way home. The place was almost empty. Just a few customers wandering the aisles. Most of the staff was stocking shelves. I grabbed a bottle of water, a sandwich, and a packet of crisps. Nothing unusual. Then I headed to the self-checkouts. I scanned the water, placed it in the bagging area. Normal. Scanned the sandwich. Normal. Then the crisps. The machine immediately beeped. Unexpected weight detected in bagging area. I sighed. Every self-checkout customer knows that message. I lifted the crisps, put them back down. Same warning. Then another appeared. Weight mismatch. A staff member walked over. Young guy, probably around my age. He typed his code. The warning disappeared. Then his expression changed. "What?" I frowned. "What?" He stared at the screen for a second, then quickly cleared something. "Nothing." The transaction continued. I paid and left. Not scary, just weird. The next evening I returned, again around midnight, again using self-checkout. The moment I placed my first item in the bagging area, the machine froze, then displayed, "Weight check failed." I sighed. Again. Then another message appeared underneath. "Too heavy." My stomach tightened slightly. I was buying chewing gum. Nothing else. There was no way the weight was wrong. Then the message vanished. The normal checkout screen returned. I paid and left. That night I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not because it was creepy, because it was annoying. The next evening I deliberately used a different machine, different checkout, different side of the store. The moment I scanned my first item, the screen changed. Weight check failed. Then, still too heavy. My chest tightened. The message disappeared immediately, like it wasn't supposed to be there. I looked around. Nobody seemed to notice. Then I paid and left. 3 nights in a row. Same messages. Same warnings. Always late at night. Always when the store was nearly empty. Then came the 4th visit. I scanned a drink. Placed it down. The machine beeped. Weight check failed. Then another line appeared. Current difference, 82 kilograms. I froze. Because that was almost exactly my body weight. The machine wasn't measuring groceries. It was measuring me. The message disappeared, replaced by the payment screen. I abandoned the transaction and left immediately. That should have been enough. But curiosity got the better of me. The following week I returned. Same store. Same time. This time I watched the screen carefully. The machine activated before I touched it. Then displayed. User detected. My stomach tightened. Then, 82 kilograms. Then, 81.4 kilograms. I stared. The number changed. Because I'd recently lost some weight. The machine somehow reflected it. Exactly. Then another message appeared. Improvement detected. My chest felt cold. I stepped back. The machine remained silent for a few seconds. Then, previous visits available. A button appeared. View history. Against my better judgment, I pressed it. The screen loaded. Rows of entries appeared. Dates, times, weights, hundreds of them. My stomach dropped, because some of the entries were years old, far older than the self-checkouts themselves. Then I noticed something worse. The first entry. Date. Weight. 73 kilograms. I stared at it, because in 2018 I was still in secondary school. I'd never visited this supermarket. Then another thing caught my eye. The entries didn't stop. They continued into the future. Future dates. Next week. Next month. Even next year. Each entry showed a different weight. Different numbers. Different measurements. Like predictions. My hands felt cold. Then I reached the final entry. No date. No weight. Just text. Final checkout. The machine suddenly beeped loudly. The history vanished. Then one final message appeared. Item not bagged. I looked down. The bagging area was empty. I hadn't scanned anything yet. Then another line appeared underneath. Customer not bagged. The screen went black. The machine rebooted. The normal checkout returned. I left immediately. Never went back. A month later I drove past the store. The building was closed. Completely abandoned. The company had shut it down years earlier, according to the sign outside. Years earlier. Yet somehow, I still had receipts from last week. Story 4. Receipt lookup. The receipt wasn't mine. At least, it shouldn't have been. It started on a Tuesday night. I stopped at a 24-hour supermarket after finishing a late study session. The place was quiet. Not empty. Just quiet in that strange way supermarkets become after midnight. The fluorescent lights seemed harsher. The aisles felt longer. Every sound echoed. I grabbed a drink and some snacks before heading to the self-checkouts. As I approached, one of the machines lit up automatically. A message appeared. Scan receipt to continue. I frowned. I wasn't returning anything. I hadn't even bought anything yet. The message vanished after a second. The normal checkout screen returned. I shrugged it off and started scanning my items. Everything worked normally, until I paid. Instead of printing my receipt, the machine displayed, "Receipt found." My stomach tightened slightly. Then another message. "View purchase history." 2 options appeared. Yes. No. I pressed No. The machine froze, then printed a receipt anyway. I grabbed it and left. Halfway home I glanced down at it. The receipt wasn't for my purchase. The date was correct. The store was correct. But the items weren't mine. Milk, bread, frozen meals, cleaning products, over £70 worth of shopping. The receipt timestamp showed 11:58 p.m., exactly 3 minutes before I'd entered the store. I assumed somebody else's receipt had been printed by mistake. Annoying, nothing more. Then I noticed something. At the bottom of the receipt sat a line of text. "Thank you for visiting again." Underneath it, "Visit number 112. I definitely hadn't visited that store 112 times. I threw the receipt away. Forgot about it. The next evening I returned. Not because of the receipt. I genuinely needed groceries. The moment I walked up to the self-checkout, the screen changed. "Receipt found." My stomach tightened. Then, "Visit number 113. The number had increased. The machine beeped. A button appeared. "View history." Against my better judgment, I pressed it. The screen loaded instantly. A list appeared. Rows and rows of receipts. Hundreds of them, each containing purchases, dates, times, all linked to the same customer account. The strange part, I didn't recognize any of the purchases. Then I noticed something worse. Every receipt had been collected from the exact same self-checkout machine, the one standing in front of me. The history went back years, far longer than I'd lived in the city. Then I reached the oldest entry. Date, customer, unknown. I kept scrolling. The names changed. Different people, different ages, different addresses. Yet all of them somehow led back to the same machine. Then I noticed something chilling. The list eventually reached my name. My chest tightened instantly. The first receipt under my name was dated 6 months earlier, months before I'd ever visited this store. I opened it. The purchase list was empty. No items, no payment, nothing. Just one line. Customer registered. Then another receipt. A month later. Again empty. Then another. And another. Every visit contained no purchases. Just timestamps. Locations. Arrival times. Departure times. Like the machine wasn't tracking shopping. It was tracking people. I quickly exited the history screen. The machine immediately displayed. Current visit saved. My stomach dropped, because I hadn't bought anything yet. Then, total visits, 114. I abandoned the basket and left. That should have been the end. But the receipts kept coming. Every night around midnight. One new receipt. No email. No app notification. They simply appeared inside my phone's wallet app. Each receipt recorded where I'd been that day. University. Train station. Library. Home. Not purchases. Locations. The final receipt arrived a week later. Timestamp. 11:59 p.m. No store listed. No items listed. Just a single entry. Next visit scheduled. Then underneath. Customer pickup pending. Story 5. Assistance required. The voice wasn't part of the machine. That's what the manager told me. And that's exactly why I never went back. It happened at a 24-hour supermarket on the edge of town. The kind of place people only visit late at night. Students. Night shift workers. People who forgot to buy something earlier. I was there around 1:30 a.m. The store was nearly empty. Just me and maybe 3 other customers. I grabbed a few snacks and headed for the self-checkouts. 6 machines stood in a row. Only one was available. I scanned my items. Everything seemed normal. Until the machine spoke. Assistance required. I sighed. The bagging area warning. Standard self-checkout stuff. Then the voice continued. Still here. I froze. The machine wasn't supposed to say that. The screen displayed the usual warning. Please wait for assistance. Nothing unusual there. But the voice had definitely said something else. A staff member walked over, typed their code. The warning disappeared. I paid and left. Not scary, just strange. The next night I returned. Same time, same store, different machine. I scanned a drink. The checkout activated immediately. Then the voice spoke. Welcome back. My stomach tightened slightly. The screen still showed the normal menu. No message. No loyalty account. Nothing. Just that voice. I looked around. Nobody seemed to notice. Then I scanned another item. The machine paused. Assistance required. A short silence followed. Then quietly, "You're later tonight." My chest tightened. Because I was. The previous visit had been around 1:30. Tonight it was nearly 2 a.m. I abandoned the transaction and left. The following week I avoided the store completely. Then one evening I stopped there out of convenience. I told myself it had probably been some audio glitch. A broken recording. Nothing more. At 1:47 a.m. I walked through the doors. The moment I entered, every self-checkout screen lit up. Simultaneously. One after another. Like dominoes. The nearest machine displayed. Customer detected. Then all the screens returned to normal. My stomach tightened. I almost left. Instead, I grabbed my items and continued. Bad decision. The moment I approached a checkout, the screen changed. Please use machine 4. I frowned. Machine 4 sat at the far end. I ignored it. Used machine 2. The screen froze. Then displayed. Wrong checkout. My chest felt cold. The message vanished instantly, replaced by the normal payment screen. I walked over to machine 4. The machine activated before I touched it. Then the voice returned. Much better. I froze. Nobody else reacted. Nobody seemed to hear it. I scanned my items. The transaction completed normally. Then the receipt printer activated. The receipt kept printing. And printing. And printing. Far longer than it should have. Nearly 2 meters of paper. I tore it off and looked down. No item list. No prices. Just timestamps. Hundreds of them. Every visit I'd ever made. Every date. Every time. Even visits I didn't remember. Then I noticed something worse. The timestamps continued beyond the present. Tomorrow. Next week. Next month. Future visits. Future times. Future purchases. My hands felt cold. Near the bottom of the receipt sat one final entry. Date. Unknown. Time. Unknown. Status. Assistance required. I left immediately. The next day I contacted the store. Asked to speak with a manager. He listened carefully. Then checked the self-checkout system logs. After a few minutes his expression changed. I asked what was wrong. He hesitated before answering. Then said, "Machine 4 shouldn't have been operating." My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" He turned the monitor toward me. The maintenance records showed machine 4 had been removed months earlier after a hardware failure. According to the system, it hadn't been active since. I stared at him, then asked the obvious question. If it wasn't there, what was I using? The manager didn't answer. He just looked confused. Then he printed a floor plan of the store. There were only 5 self-checkouts. Machines 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. No machine 4. That night I checked my wallet. The receipt from machine 4 was gone. Completely gone. No paper. No transaction history. Nothing. Except for one notification that appeared on my phone just before midnight. No app. No sender. No logo. Just text. Assistance request still pending. And underneath, a staff member will be with you shortly. Most receipts end up in the bin. Forgotten within minutes. A list of items. A total price. Proof of a purchase. Nothing more. At least, that's what people assume. Until the receipt starts recording things you never bought. Until the machine starts remembering things you never told it. Until a checkout that shouldn't exist asks you to come back. Because sometimes, The scariest thing isn't the person standing behind you in the queue. It's the possibility that the machine has been watching every visit, and it's still waiting for the next one. There are more stories like this on my channel. If you're willing to keep scanning, subscribe. If you think you can handle the next one, I'll see you again. Assuming your next receipt only lists the things you actually purchased.